open up Photoshop here. So what I did was I took a bunch of photos of hands, right? Because I thought this would be a good way to demo what I want. If you're dealing with a still life or a stop motion, it's just a sequence of photos. You know, there'll be lots of tricks like interval shooting or, you know, fancy stop motion software that allow you to onion skin things and see things. But basically, the basics of it is you set your camera up on a tripod, you move something, you take a picture, right? So when I'm in Photoshop, what I want to do is I want to go File, New. I'm going to set this up if I want to take it into Premiere or Video Editor, right? Photoshop works well with Premiere. The Adobe Creative Cloud, all the programs kind of work together. So you see New Document. You'll see Film and Video. This is prepping your Photoshop file to go into an animation software or a video editor software like Premiere. So I would recommend using 1920 by 1080. You know, you can use 4K and all this stuff. It's just going to bog down your system. 1920 by 1080 is great. So go OK. And now this document is completely set up for video. That's the video size, right? So what I'm going to do now is if I, for instance, went off here and drag this over, you're going to see that this is super big, right? This is massive file size. So then I'm probably going to have to go Command T, or I'm going to hit Escape. If I zoom way out here, I have to go Command T and then rescale these, which is a super pain in the butt. I'm going to rescale the one, and then I'm going to show you a trick. Size there, hit Enter. So there's my hand, number one. Don't want to be doing that for every single image. So what I would do is I would just go into image size. You can see the pixel count here, right? So that's like, you want to get this closer to 1920 by 1080. Before, in the past, I said go to percentage, knock the percentage down, is sometimes how I do it. But here you can go into pixels. I want to go, so the width, so if I type in 1920, type in 19, oh my gosh, I'm all fun today, 1920. So you'll see that 1920, this is a lot bigger than 1080, but that's what I'm going to want, because if I went 1080, this is going to make this smaller than 1920. So this is the closest I'm going to get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into each of my images, open up the image size, go to pixels, type in the width as 1920, resolution 72. Go OK. And then that's resized for me. Okay, so I'm going to go and make all these that size. I apologize. But 1920 right there. And I'd go and I'd resize all these. So okay, so I'm going to have everything in place here. Maybe now I actually have to make them a little bit smaller still. If you're doing a GIF animation, you just only really need 4 photos, and you kind of like you use 4 photos to loop through an animation cycle. It's what it's like a looped animation. In this case, I've got 13 photos, right? And then if I just turn them off, you can see that it will toggle through and kind of create this animation of all of our different hands, right? So the first thing is I want to do a GIF animation right inside of Photoshop. You go up to Window and Timeline. So I'm just going to move this up here. Boom, boom, boom. So you'll see there's a little bit of clicking. You click on Create Video Timeline. You don't want to be in the video timeline for this, right? So you click that, video timeline pops you into here. And here in the corner, it has this frame by frame thing. So if I click, and this here in the corner will toggle between, see the convert to frame animation. Now that's in frame animation. That's what I want. If I click on this, this is now in video kind of like lines, right? I don't want that. So I click this. This process is pretty easy, right? So all I do is my frame 1 here, my eyeball is on the layer that I want it to be on, right? Then I click a new frame right over here, turn the eyeball off, and then there's the subsequent frame. And then just repeat that. As I said, this isn't super complicated, it's just labor intensive. So you go boom, eyeball off, boom, eyeball off, etc. And then you just add a frame, turn your layer eyeball off, add a frame, layer eyeball off, add a frame, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. There you go. I'm all the way down to the bottom layer here. So I have all of these frames, right? So in theory, what I should be able to do is not going to look that great right now because there's a step that I have to do. But in theory, there's a play button. I should hit play, but it's like, well, it's not playing. What's taking so long, right? Oh, then it went over. It's because the delay is 5 seconds. So if I click this here, I want to change this to no delay or like a split-second delay. So that has changed. I don't want to do this for every frame. I can individually, I can shift select all the frames, go here, and put like a split-second delay. There you go. It's done. Go back to my first frame, hit play, and there you go. There's my animation. So now what you need is you need this saved as a GIF, right? Right now this is a Photoshop file with a timeline animation. It's not a GIF yet. So your final step to saving the GIF animation is to go File. You want to export this, right? And then the Save for Web, the legacy thing. So you go here. And then you see there's your GIF. You want your looping forever. It's all good. And I'm going to save this. Then it will let me save it into whatever folder I want. I'm going to save this into the tutorials folder, my time-lapse, and save it in there. And now that's GIF animation's done. What I will do is I will put the GIF animation beside the finished animation beside the video tutorial of this.